In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on March 11, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Brooklyn Nets versus Cleveland Cavaliers. On Tuesday, the Brooklyn Nets are set to face off against the Cleveland Cavaliers at Rocket Arena. This game marks the 4th time these two Eastern Conference NBA teams will meet this season. So far, the Cavaliers have come out on top in all 3 previous matchups. Over their last 10 games against each other, Cleveland has dominated with an 8-2 straight-up record, though the against-the-spread results are more even at 5-5. In those 10 games, the over has hit 6 times, compared to 4 unders. The Nets will still be missing Cam Thomas and Trendon Watford for this game, while the Cavaliers are expected to have their full roster available. It's hard to make a case for the Nets winning this one outright, but it's worth noting that this will be their 3rd game against the Cavaliers this season, after losing 101-130 in December and 97-110 in February. Interestingly, if the current spread holds, this will be the largest point spread the Cavaliers have been asked to cover in their 65 games this season. Back in February, they were favored by 17.5 points in a road game against the Wizards, but failed to cover, winning 134-124. Despite Cleveland's strong performance this season, including a solid 41-22 shillings record, they've only covered the spread in 2 of their last 5 games. They narrowly escaped with a 118-117 win against the Hornets last week, despite being 16-point favorites. Brooklyn lost by just 13 points in their last meeting with Cleveland, so betting on a similar outcome feels safer than expecting the Cavs to win by 19 or more. As our first pick for this matchup, the Brooklyn Nets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The over has been a strong trend in Cavaliers games this season, hitting in 35 of 53 games following a Cleveland win, 21 of 33 when they're home favorites, and 11 of 15 when they have a rest advantage. Cleveland is likely to take control of the scoring in this game, putting up big numbers against a Brooklyn team that's playing the second leg of a tough back-to-back against 2 top-tier opponents. The Nets don't seem particularly motivated to compete in this matchup, and that lack of effort could show up on the defensive end. The Cavaliers should have no trouble firing away from 3-point range, especially against Brooklyn's weak perimeter defense, which ranks 27th in opponent 3-point percentage. While Cam Thomas sat out the first game of the Nets back-to-back, he's expected to play in this one, which should give Brooklyn's offense a boost. The over has hit in 41 of Cleveland's 64 games this season, and they've never gone more than 3 consecutive games without hitting the over. After an 8-2 run to the over in their previous 10 games, the Cavs have gone 0-3 in their last 3. Playing at home with a full roster, Cleveland faces a Nets team dealing with injuries to key players. The Cavaliers have been held under 120 points in their last 3 games, after surpassing that mark in 9 of their previous 10. In their most recent game against the Bucks, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland struggled from beyond the arc, combining for just 2-15 shooting. I'd expect a bounce-back performance from them rather than another off night. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Washington Wizards versus Detroit Pistons. On Tuesday, the Washington Wizards will face off against the Detroit Pistons at Little Caesars Arena. This marks the 2nd time these Eastern Conference NBA teams will meet this season. Their last encounter on November 15th ended with the Pistons securing a decisive 124-104 victory. Historically, the Wizards have had the upper hand in the series, winning 7 of the last 10 matchups straight up, though they've been even against the spread at 5-5. Interestingly, the under has hit in 7 of those 10 games. The Wizards are dealing with significant absences as Malcolm Brogdon, Saddiq Bey, and Marcus Smart remain sidelined. On the other hand, the Pistons are nearly at full strength, with Jaden Ivey being their only notable absence. Washington showed some promise during a 4-game stretch last week, but their momentum was halted by a tough loss to the struggling Raptors last night. Meanwhile, the Pistons have been quietly impressive this season, staying feeling relatively healthy and coming into this game well-rested, having last played on Sunday. The Wizards appear to be in full rebuilding mode and are playing the second game of a back-to-back, which could impact their performance. Ironically, the Pistons were in a similar position last season but have turned things around dramatically this year. They currently sit 7 games above .500 and hold a 5.5 game lead over the 7th seed in the East. A home win against the struggling Wizards, who rank last in offensive rating and are among the league leaders in turnovers, would help them maintain that gap. Cade Cunningham is expected to have another strong performance in this matchup. The point spread for this game was always going to be significant, and it feels justified given the circumstances. The Pistons should face minimal resistance as long as they don't underestimate the Wizards. As our first pick for this matchup, the Detroit Pistons to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. This game is likely to be fast-paced, as the Wizards rank 4th in the NBA in pace, and the Pistons aren't far behind at 11th. Despite resting some key players on Monday, Washington should have enough energy to keep up with the Pistons. The Wizards have 10 players averaging between 7.5 and 21 points, making them capable of putting up big numbers against Detroit's middle-of-the-pack defense. In a high-tempo game, I expect the Pistons to focus more on their offense rather than trying to shut down the Wizards. This matchup should remain competitive for most of the game, potentially staying close for 3 or even 4 quarters. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Milwaukee Bucks versus Indiana Pacers. Central Division rivals are set to face off on the hardwood in Indiana as the Milwaukee Bucks take on the Indiana Pacers on Tuesday night. The Bucks are coming off a tough 112-100 loss at home to the Cleveland Cavaliers on Sunday, failing to cover the spread as 7-point underdogs. Meanwhile, the Pacers were in action Monday night on the road against the Chicago Bulls, kicking off a back-to-back stretch. Indiana is looking to bounce back after being swept in a 2-game road series against the Atlanta Hawks, including a narrow 120-118 defeat on Saturday night where they fell short as 1.5-point favorites. Historically, the Bucks have dominated the regular season series, holding a 117-96 edge and winning the last 2 matchups, including a 120-112 victory in their most recent meeting on December 31, 2024. The Bucks will once again be without Chris Livingston, but there's some positive news as Pat Connaughton has been upgraded to questionable. On the other side, the Pacers continue to miss Isaiah Jackson and Tyrese Halliburton. Milwaukee is desperate for a win after losing their last 2 games, and they'll likely see this as a prime opportunity to get back on track against a Pacers team that struggled mightily in their loss to the Bulls without Halliburton running the show. While Indiana still has plenty of talent with Pascal Siakam and Miles Turner in the lineup, it's hard to imagine them making the necessary adjustments in such a short turnaround to challenge a fully healthy Bucks squad. Indiana has the home court advantage here, but they're playing their 3rd game in 4 nights across 3 different cities. They're also dealing with the second leg of a back-to-back after facing the Bulls on Monday. It remains to be seen whether Halliburton or TJ McConnell will suit up for this one. Milwaukee, on the other hand, had been on a roll, winning 8 of their previous 9 games before dropping their last 2 to Cleveland and Orlando. The Bucks will rely heavily on their dynamic duo of Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard to carry the load. With a healthier roster and the benefit of extra rest, Milwaukee holds a clear advantage in this matchup. Backing the Bucks as road favorites hasn't been a reliable bet this season, as they've lost 16 times in that role. However, the line here feels fair given the circumstances. The Pacers are reeling after 3 rough losses to the Bulls and Hawks, and the fatigue of a back-to-back won't help their cause. Halliburton's absence only adds to their struggles, and there's a chance the Bucks could get Connaughton back, as he's currently listed as questionable. Milwaukee has been dominant against Indiana this season, going 2-0 both straight up and against the spread, with their offense firing on all cylinders in those games. As our first pick for this matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Milwaukee has been averaging 116 points per game over their last 10 contests, which is slightly above their season average of 114.6. They've also been strong against the Pacers, putting up 115 points per game in their last 10 meetings. The Bucks rank 9th in the league in pace with 99.8 possessions per game and sit 13th in offensive efficiency this season. Indiana, meanwhile, has been lighting up the scoreboard, averaging 121.5 points per game over their last 10 games heading into Monday night. tonight, well above their season mark of 116.6. The Pacers are 8th in offensive efficiency and 11th in adjusted tempo, averaging 99.7 possessions per game. The over has hit in 32 of the Bucks' 63 games this season, while the Pacers have seen the over go 33 to 28 to 2 in their contests. At home, Indiana has trended toward the over with a 15 to 12 record. This game has all the makings of a high-scoring affair, as the Pacers rank 10th in points scored and are allowing the 5th highest field goal percentage defensively. Milwaukee's offense should have no trouble finding success here. Both teams play at a fast pace, with Indiana ranking 5th in tempo and Milwaukee sitting 15th. The over has cashed in 7 of the last 10 meetings between these teams, and with the Pacers' defensive struggles in the second game of back-to-backs, this one is likely to surpass the total. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Los Angeles Clippers versus New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans will welcome the Los Angeles Clippers to the Smoothie King Center for what promises to be an intriguing matchup. Both teams are dealing with their own set of challenges as they prepare for this game, and the outcome could have significant implications for their respective seasons. The Clippers are still dealing with some key absences, as Ben Simmons and Norman Powell remain sidelined. On the other side, the Pelicans have decided to rest Kelly Olynyk for this game, and they're keeping a close watch on Jose Alvarado, who is listed as questionable due to left hip soreness. The Clippers, however, are riding a wave of momentum with 3 consecutive wins, including a thrilling overtime comeback victory against the Kings on Sunday. That win likely gave them a boost of confidence heading into this contest. Meanwhile, the Pelicans are struggling to find consistency, coming off a disappointing loss to the Grizzlies. Their recent form has been shaky, and they'll need to turn things around quickly if they hope to compete. At this point in the season, these two teams seem to be heading in opposite directions. The Clippers are looking to climb higher in the playoff standings and secure a more favorable position, while the Pelicans are struggling to stay afloat. One area where the Clippers could dominate is in the paint, as they rank among the league's best in scoring inside. This plays directly into a weakness in the Pelicans' defense, which has had trouble containing opponents in that area. Additionally, New Orleans has been inconsistent at defending the perimeter, and their three-point shooting has been unreliable. These factors could give the Clippers the edge they need to control the game and come away with a win. Just when it seemed like the Pelicans were starting to get healthier and put together some decent performances, they've hit another rough patch. They've lost 4 straight games and have only managed to cover the spread once during that stretch. On the other hand, the Clippers are starting to hit their stride, especially with Kawhi Leonard seeing more consistent minutes. If the Clippers are serious about avoiding the play-in tournament or even securing home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs, games like this are must-wins. While the Pelicans did push the Clippers to the brink in their earlier meeting on December 30th, losing by just 3 points, the Clippers are playing much better basketball now. The line for this game seems fair, and it's hard to feel confident about the Pelicans given their recent struggles. As our first pick for this matchup, the Los Angeles Clippers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When it comes to pace, neither team is known for playing fast. Both the Pelicans and Clippers rank in the bottom half of the league in terms of pace, with the Clippers sitting in the bottom 10. Los Angeles prefers to operate in a half-court setting, and that's likely the approach they'll take in this game. Additionally, both teams have shown an ability to force turnovers, which could lead to plenty of disrupted possessions and slower gameplay. With the Pelicans struggling to find their rhythm on offense, it's hard to imagine them carrying the scoring load in this one. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.